G'day, welcome to another episode of Fearless Singer. I'm Mel Lathuris, and more importantly, I've got the amazing Laine. This is Laine Loxlea-Danann.
Yep.
And she is a multi-passionate creative singer, producer, writer, teacher, educator, and just an all-round, honestly, you're a marvel. I love hearing about your journeys, what you're doing. You are really just the epitome of a creative, and I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Oh, thanks, Mel.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and I think there is something in the triple name, honestly.
Yeah. Yes, the numerology is good.
Yeah. Do you know much about your numerology?
I do actually, yeah.
Oh, tell us about it.
Yeah, well, my birth name, I have a master number in my birth name, but then when I moved to my new name, it basically strengthens all the stuff in my original chart, which is fantastic because it's all creative and dynamic and doing stuff, and so yeah, it just makes it even stronger.
Oh, mate, and you're the epitome of a dreamer who actually takes action. You've got the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Everything you do, including where you live, is a creative bubble. So
Yeah.
Laine makes her own wines. She's a fabulous cook. Just your whole home is beautiful, and you actually call it the retreat. So
the Cleveland Artist Retreat. Yeah,
the Cleveland Artist Retreat. And the other thing that you've now ventured into is talent management. So you're a booking agent, and you help young artists and actors, and not only young, across the spectrum of age, but and it doesn't matter what training they have, but you help them get in front of the camera. And you've even turned your garage into a studio where people can come and do their self-taping.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and you call it, you say, come out to the Cleveland
the shared studio. Yeah,
Artist
that's
Retreat.
Right. Yeah,
So
it's wonderful.
Talk us through, when did you start getting more into talent management?
Yeah, well, when I was younger, when I first graduated from the conservatorium, I fell into agency work booking musicians, and I loved it. So I straight out of uni, I just started booking string quartets and singers and weddings and all sorts of stuff, and I really loved it. And I only stopped it because I went overseas and blah 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 blah. And then years later, I was working for a company and they needed an agency set up. So I set it up for them. I thought, oh, I really enjoy this because I actually really love supporting artists developing their careers because, as you said, I'm a creative dreamer who has taken action. And I think what happens in our industry is that we have these wonderful, powerful creatives that need help to take action. And that's me. That's what I do really well. So that's what I have to offer. And I love, I could book myself all the time if I wanted to, but the truth is I'm so keen to work with other people and support them and see their career develop. So yeah, I decided I'm going to do it again now that I have the opportunity to. So
that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I see that in you. You're a collaborator.
Yeah, I love collaboration.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
So, it becomes other people's projects also become part of yours, you're invested.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And also too, this is another exciting thing. So I think I've always followed your career, because we met years and years ago at the conservatorium. So when you're finishing off your masters and but I think the algorithm, something happened, when you don't really see much of someone in the feed, but then you started popping up and I was like, God, I love this bird. I started following along, especially your trip to Europe was, honestly, it was like an eat, pray, love.
It was.
Adventure.
It's become even more than that I'm now writing a wonderful play with my collaborator, Taz Walsh from Scotland, who I actually met on that trip. And we often laugh about how we are what he calls quantifiably entangled. And so we sort of met each other and sort of creatively went kaboom and realized that we had something to offer. And so we're writing that whole thing into a play. It was an eat, pray, love experience, and it has changed me extremely. I've had numerous epiphanies because of it that have set me off on a wonderfully, a dynamic, challenging, exciting, scary path, but amazing. And I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I was brave enough to do it at that time that I did.
And can we just also mention the reason why you were there is because you were actually there for the debut of your musical that was being performed in Germany.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So my musical, Critical Last Chance Years, was a cabaret musical, and a lovely theatre in Germany called Theatre an der Rott took interest in it and wanted to produce it as a theatre musical. And I was like, go for it, knock yourself out. So they did their first treatment in 2022. And I couldn't go because of COVID, but then they said we want to do it again for International Women's Day for 2023. And I was like, I've got to go. I have to go. So, there were a couple of times there I sort of went, I don't know if I can go. This is going to be, how am I going to make this happen? But my mum said, you have to go, because if you don't, you're going to miss the energy that thing creates. So, and I'm so glad I did, because what it's done is now formed this beautiful relationship between me and Marianne Clausen, the German director, who's going to come out to Australia next year and direct it here in Australia. So I'm really excited. And we still have the artistic collaboration and support of Theatre an der Rott and Dean Wilmington there, the artistic director. So it's amazing.
And talk us through the premise of the musical. So sort of based on your life.
Yes.
At a certain time.
Yes. Yeah. So it's based on my life, moving through my 30s, moving into perimenopause, and it's basically based on I'm a go-getter. I'm a career woman. I want to make stuff. And in that time of my life, I had a lot of people saying to me, oh my God, you've got to get serious. When are you going to find a husband, a house, have a baby, what's wrong with you? You've got to get this sorted. So I got so angry about that for about 8 years, I just went on, 1,000 million different dating sites to try and find this perfect husband that I was supposed to have and then have this perfect life. But the truth is, I didn't find any of that, because it actually, for me, what's for me is what I'm doing. And so this is all, and also because I deal with not being able to have children, and having to deal with that. I only found that out when I was 30. And so I didn't think it was going to make a big difference, but it made a huge difference to trying to get that husband, house, baby package thing that everybody says we're supposed to want. And so, it was just embracing all those issues coming up to perimenopause. And now I've gone through perimenopause, I've gone through menopause, I'm now in menopause, and I'm so happy.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm glad we're talking about this, because, I've just turned 40.
Yep.
And the same thing with that pressure to buy into society's projection of, the dream, the woman dream, having the children and the house, and especially as a creative as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I'm not cutting off any possibility of ever owning a house, but it's not like a massive priority when you've got all these creative babies wanting to come out, and I'm the same thing. I'm in love with my career. Like I love what I'm building.
Yes.
And so part of being in your 30s is coming to terms with that maybe the life that you're creating doesn't actually fit in with what's been set out for you. And also grieving it at the same time.
And that's a real thing. That's a real thing. And I realized that it's not only the grief that you face during perimenopause, because we do have this unconscious thing that the value of a woman is her working womb. You know what I mean? And it's very hard when your womb doesn't work, or you're not supposed to use your womb, or whatever the hell. You do have that grief about that, but then you also, when you hit menopause, you do go through another form of grief, because you are now not any of that at all. You don't have any of that. And so, it's getting to the other side and really powerfully helping yourself find that sense of achievement and joy that you've actually got through all of those Yeah. And for me, it's never compromising. I know it sounds really full on, but I just can't. I just can't. I'm not a settler. You know what I mean? I just can't. And I wouldn't do that to a man. I wouldn't just go, yeah, I'll settle with you. That's not fair, you know?
I'm also not a settler in any area of my life. The same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see myself ever going back into traditional employment. I work better
No.
as my own, I set
Yeah.
my own values and culture, and
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, and I get up
Yes.
when I want to get up as well.
Me too.
I
I'm
don't know
with
if
you.
I don't know if I could like get up at 6:30 again to go to a job.
No.
And I know there will be people listening going, "Oh, all right, princess."
Yeah, I mean, me too. But I think I've done I paid my dues. I've
Mm.
done all of that. I've worked for many organizations and I've learned a lot from all of them, good and bad. And I think no, now is the time for what I bring to the earth and for people to see what I bring to the earth through me as me, not through the guise of a company.
Oh, mate, that's so powerful, and thank
Yeah.
you for making that work.
Yeah, well, I'm
Yeah.
trying.
No, but also, I mean, like, thank you for making the musical.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's going
no,
to be
no.
here next year, did you
Yes,
say?
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
So we've a very sneaky thing. We've just cast our leading lady. I'm very excited. And we're just going for the bunch of grants and so on. Hopefully it'll start out here in the regions because I'm out at Redlands
Mhm.
and I love my region. I want to add to the artistic value out here. So we're going to start out here, hopefully go regional up north a bit, and then head to Brisbane in 2025, I think, and hopefully overseas in 2025 as well.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Oh,
Yeah.
honestly, my heart just goes,
Yes, I know.
I'm so
It's
excited for you.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just chipping away at it, doing the best I
And
can.
I just want to also add here that I'm a fan of you. Well, I'm a fan of everything that you do, but I love your
Thank you.
singing voice. You have got
Oh, thank you.
honestly one of the most glorious voices that just
Thanks.
floats above a band. It's just gorgeous. And yeah, recently you came out
Mm,
on social media to say that you've been having some issues with the
mm.
voice. I had no idea that you were struggling. So can you talk us through
Yeah.
what happened?
So in 2017 was the last time I performed that everything sort of felt normal.
Hmm.
And then I started noticing I was having weird ear problems and I didn't know what was going on. And then I realized that the ear problems were affecting my vocal production in the sense that I would be getting vocally tired. And I've never got vocally tired in my whole entire life because I've, always had great technique and have always worked hard for that. And so I went through to the ENT. It took the ENT 3 years to work out what was wrong with me. And finally, the diagnosis came through as a bilateral superior semicircular canal dehiscence, which means holes have formed in my skull bone above where the ear canals are. And the ear canals are popping through into the brain, which makes it that my perception of sound has become completely altered. So I hear my internal sounds louder and stronger than I do external sounds. So what that's done for me is completely given me a different perception of sound. And when I went overseas, I hadn't sung live for anybody in 3 years because I was so discombobulated with how it was working. But as I've come to terms with it, and I was speaking to lovely Irene Bartlett about this, it hasn't affected my singing voice. My singing voice is exactly the same. What has affected is my perception of sound. So I'm working with lovely Dave Spicer to try and find my way back to the performing voice. And I think we're getting understanding what I can do as a recording artist because we can control what's going into my ears. But performing live at the moment with a whole band is still something I haven't tried and something I don't know what that's going to be like because when there's me making sound, I can't hear anything else. So if I'm making sound and there's another sound happening, I can't hear that sound. So as a musician, it's really challenging. So when I work with students, it's fine because I can organize the environment so that they're making sound and I'm not, and blah, 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 blah. But the live performance with a band is something I am yet to explore. I want to. It's going to take a little bit of time. Yeah. But this is an important condition to talk about because it's so rare. Like, trust me to get one of the rarest conditions in the universe. Like one person in, I don't know, like it's just 1% of the population will get this sort of thing. It's so rare. But there would be other musicians being challenged by this, and I could understand musicians wanting to end their life because of it.
Especially, it's, if it's your livelihood as well, and and so many things, your spiritual food, for a lot of people, music is, our form of faith, system.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a really important conversation, Laine. I teach a marvelous woman here in the studio who has hearing conditions, and you have to always be thinking about creating an ideal state for her, but she gets very nervous about, she's got the most phenomenal voice and could honestly go and have a career, but the idea of being on a stage, not being able to control the environment really scares her, and that's so valid because the stage can be super chaotic, and it can be, especially in like a jam situation. So one of the first steps I get a lot of my students to do is to do the singers jam at the jazz club, but it's like, that's all well and good if you can hear what's going on, but if it's your first experience with a band and there's no rehearsal, there's no way of organizing the space, that's like throwing someone into a lion's den, So I think it's an important conversation because, one, teachers need to be super aware of it, and I think also too is, it's a conversation we must always be having in the industry. Like, how can we make the stage more inclusive, and be okay about, an artist coming in and organizing it so that, they're going to have a better experience. Therefore, everyone's going to have a better experience. So it is a real inclusivity.
Question. That's
practical.
Exactly. Yes, I think what's important too is when someone is new to the stage, maybe not new to singing, but new to the stage, it's an environment like nothing else. Like, when else are you in an environment like that? What else equals the stage experience? I don't know. It's such. I grew up with it, so for me, it's like my home. I feel safer on a stage than I do in the foyer. But for other people who have never stepped into that environment, it's so such an extraordinarily altered reality is altered in so many ways in that environment. For me, I always feel like I'm in a lovely bubble with the musicians that I'm with, but also I always feel like the audience, regardless of whether I know them or not, they're my best friends. So for me, it is about creating this warmth and connection between the stage environment and the audience environment. And as an actor and a performer, I understand that as well. And it is something that you need to very gradually help your students to sort of explore their way into. Yes. Yeah.
100%. Do you have like a bit of a timeline envisioned for yourself when it comes to getting back on the stage?
Yes, absolutely. So basically the plan is I'm exploring the recording environment, because the first thing I want to do is try and record this last chunk of originals that I have that haven't been recorded, and it's just Dave and I doing our thing. And that's going to be setting me up to sing again and record again. And then my plan from there is, with Critical Last Chance Years, I'll be performing as the instrumentalist in this version. So I'll actually be the accompanist. So that's going to be a really great way for me to sort of be in the performative environment, having to listen as a musician, but not actually having to make sound, which will get me back into that environment again. And it is a bit scary. I sort of don't quite know what to expect, but I have to do it. I really have to do it. And then gradually, I think, as a performative environment like the Jazz Singers Jam Night, it's taking an environment where I can take one instrument, a piano, have a sing, see how I go, deal with a microphone, deal with in-ear, fold back. I don't know. Dave's going to help me work that out. And then gradually see if we can add instruments, I guess. That's, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds, amazing. I look forward to following along because,
Yeah.
and I love that you share this, by the way.
Thank
It's
you.
so important.
It is.
Yeah.
I just realized how how cut off I felt when I got the diagnosis. I was like, oh my God. And it's funny because some people said to me, oh, well, at least you've had a great career. And I was like, yeah, I'm not finished
Yeah, I was
yet.
gonna say.
Thanks.
Yes.
At least I've no, still going. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
So it's just, if I can sort out a way to deal with it, then there'll be more discussion about it, which
Mm,
means other musicians that end up with this terrible condition that will make you want to slit your wrists
mm,
will go, oh my God, I know how to, she's written this paper about it or whatever the heck.
mm.
This is what I should have done my doctorate on, but no, no.
That's okay.
Yeah,
There's
there's time. Yes,
journals,
yeah,
Annette's
yeah,
conference.
that's
Yeah,
right. I'll get
yeah,
in
that
there and
talk
talk
about it.
about it.
Yeah, I think
Yes,
it's, people need to know that they're not alone,
no,
and
that's
also
right.
need to see someone who's been able to
Yeah,
manage it.
and found a way through. That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
so honestly, Loxley, I just called you Loxley.
That's a good. People call me Loxley as my nickname. So yeah,
Oh,
they do.
good. I think I might have
Mm.
just energetically picked that up. But you're so bloody inspiring.
Oh, thanks,
Um,
Mel.
and talk us through now the booking agency, because this is really
Yeah.
exciting to me because I have full plans when I get my shit together to get
Yes.
my promo photos and sorted and that self
Yes.
tape. But yeah, I love that you've created this boutique agency because
Mm.
anyone that's been in this scene knows that with the agencies here in Brisbane, it's like they're fully booked. It's all quite saturated, and you if you haven't graduated with your fine arts degree in acting or been to NIDA or VCA or whatever, you just feel like you're not going to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
However, some of our most incredible actors here in Australia, I'm thinking about like Rachel Griffith,
Mm-hmm.
have all given themselves their own acting school
Mm.
experience.
Mm.
So I love that you've come out and said, I'm willing to have a conversation with anybody. You could be a
Mm.
truck driver, who's decided that you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
talk me through
I mean,
that.
just
Yeah.
off that, the truth is that I collect talent that I find inspiring, and it's the same as my lovely new friend Taz from Scotland. When I walked into the candle shop in Victoria Street, and I saw this huge Scotsman just with this crazy, amazing personality, I was like, oh my God, he's got to be an actor. And when I spoke to him and said, hey, are you an actor? He was like, no, how is someone like me going to ever become an actor? And I was like, well, I happen to, look after talent. But if you have it, you have it. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm.
He's never gone to acting school, but the first audition he did, he got through to the fourth round of callbacks. Like
Amazing.
do you know what I
So
mean?
you're managing him
Yes.
in Australia. You're
But
managing a
he's in,
guy in Scotland
yeah, that's right.
and getting
Yes.
him gigs over there.
Yes, that's
Oh my
right.
God, you're
Yeah.
amazing.
So, yeah, but that's the whole point is he has it. He never went to acting school. He like Gandalf, the guy who played Gandalf, he never went to acting school. He learnt on the job
Yeah.
because he's got it in his bones. And if you have it,
This
then
is Ian McKellar. Didn't go to
yeah,
acting school. Oh,
no,
oh my
he
God.
no, he went no, he's totally on the stage, get on there, play whatever
Mm.
role, give it a go, learn more. Yeah, he's an intuitive actor and learned on the job. So for me, acting school is great, and definitely if you go to acting school, great, because I went to acting. That's not a problem. Go to acting, but it doesn't mean that if you haven't gone to an acting school, it doesn't mean that you can't be an actor.
Well, it's the same. I have another fantastic human in the Fearless Singer membership who's already a gigging singer.
Mm,
But yeah, she's always had a career in corporate communications and
mm,
event management, but just decided, I think, like she'd always did singing. She's in a really fabulous band that are just taking off. But yeah, she just decided one day, I'm going to learn all these 20s, 30 songs. And then she found her band, and now they just gig everywhere. So yeah, she didn't go to music school, but she gave herself a musical education.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And for me, I'm interested in mentoring, developing talent, because that's what I find fascinating and I'm passionate about. So I love working with people, developing their profile and developing their their tools and their skill. I really love it. I just love it. And that's why I started the actors space that I'm going to be starting soon, where actors can come and collaborate with me and work on their stuff. But it's not going to break the bank because it's a pay what you can sort of price for them to develop their career. You know what I mean? So that for me is really important. And I think it's important that our industry is given as much internal support as possible, because we don't get a heck of a lot of external support. So I really am so aware of how much we need to sort of work together. I just going up to Stanthorpe the other day, I realized how much the wineries up there all work together, because there's this thought that, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but many of the wineries sort of say, look, most wineries make one good wine. So what you want to do is promote everybody, so everybody sells their one good wine. And I think we're the same in our arts industry. We need to just support each other as much as we can, because there is no industry without us, because of our passion is what keeps us going forward. I'm going to get this musical off the ground, not because I have the money to do it, but I have the passion to make it work. And so I think it's so important to me.
For you, you tell me if I'm wrong, but it's more than passion. I feel like you have a mission.
Oh, I do. Oh my God, yes. I do have a mission.
Don't get me wrong, passion is important, but I think it takes you so far. But when you have a very strong why, you're very much about service.
Yes. Yeah. And creativity is essential. I think this concept that creativity is some added extra, that, it's an accompaniment to life or something. No, it's not. It's absolutely essential. Without it, why do people go and have a job? They go and have a job so they can have a good time off the money with all the entertainment they're wanting to. Do you know what I mean? Creativity is absolutely essential. It's not this. I've never understood why we think creativity is this added extra that's not that important, and it's just silly and fun, and it's essential. All beauty, all meaning, everything, our houses, our homes, our furnishings, the way we dress, everything is art. Everything is creativity. It's all creative. So it's, for me, it's essential. And, and I think everybody really, and this is what, for me with students, I really want to encourage students you don't come to a lesson because the only reason is you want to become a professional singer. You come and experience singing to have somewhere to have that validated, because it's an essential part of your core being, whether it's playing the piano or being an actor or whatever. It's not, it's a bit of fun, and if you're not going to be professional, it's not worth it. No. It's absolutely essential to have that space where you can express yourself with validation in that way, because you leave so enriched. And I don't know about you, Mel, but the students that say to me, they look forward to their lesson all week, because it's that space where their creativity is validated and they are enriched as a person, Oh,
100%. I think my whole model is really based on just letting people be weird. It's and being like, and you know what? I'm weird too. And we can all just be really weird together.
Yes.
You want to cry? I'm going to cry too.
Yes. Me too. Yeah.
It's just a space to be human and emote and be told that you're okay. Like, and you're more than okay. Like, this is awesome. You're awesome.
Yeah.
And what you want to do is awesome. And like just having someone there to support your dreams.
Yes. Yeah.
As well.
And share that moment with you and validate it. It's so important. And I get to do a workshop lesson down at PS, where I work at Performance Studios, and I tandem with Dave, and the singers, they come and they just perform their songs to get some feedback on the performance. And gosh, I love working with them, because they're all sort of community singers that are sort of taking a chance on themselves and coming to workshop to build up their performance fitness. So that they're now taking those songs and taking their work and starting to perform for the aged care facilities, and it's beautiful that they're just
amazing.
moving through and using that platform down at performance studios to help them move forward into a way of performing and sharing their gift with the community. I think it's amazing. Yeah. So
well, that's what Fearless Singer is about as well. It's like a little incubator, but then I schedule 6 performances throughout the year. So we go to Can You Keep a Secret? Our last big hurrah for the year is that It's Still a Secret.
Yes.
It's a bit bigger venue, but yeah, it is. It's just about same thing. It's like a little launching pad, so that you. I've got so many students that want to put on their own, one-woman show. I've got another one that's going to do a drag king show.
Yes.
Talk about and sing about all those really susso songs back in the 70s,
yes.
like Young Girl, Get Out of My Mind, and it's sort of a piss take on that. So I just, I love that we're like the wineries. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
like we have all these creative safe spaces all around Brisbane for people, and it's so important.
Yes, so important. Yep, I agree with you.
Commend you for all of the work that you're doing.
Oh, thanks, Mel.
So look, if people want to follow you, they can follow you on Instagram.
Yes.
I'll put your handle obviously in the show notes.
Yeah.
But it's at Laine
Loxlea-Danann. Yeah. So Loxlea Creative is my business handle, and Laine Loxlea-Danann is my private.
Okay. So
my private Instagram. Loxlea Creative is the one to go. So LOXLEA.
Well, that's where all the fabulous content is.
Yes, that's right.
You do.
Yes.
And honestly, you're so generous with your content. I just have to tell you that. So one, you're sharing your own creative journey and story, but also you're helping with really incredible tips and feedback for other artists, and that they probably wouldn't. They'd have to pay someone to get that kind of information.
Yeah, and
it's all
true.
free on your.
Yeah, it is, because if I want to help the actors, because if they're good actors, then they'll get work, which if they're with me means I'll get work. You know what I mean? Of course I want to help them. I want them. And two, the experience between being where I am and what I see, I can see how actors just don't get to see what I'm seeing. So if I can share that with them, it gives them more knowledge to improve their.
Sorry, I keep interjecting. That's another thing you've said in one of your reels. You've said there is so much work.
Yeah.
There's this like kind of notion that, there's like tumbleweeds in the industry, that there's nothing happening, but
no. Do you know, most of the briefs that come in, I have to delete, or not delete, but put to one side, because I don't have someone on the books that will suit the gig. And at the moment I have like 20 briefs in my inbox that I haven't got people for, which is just, for me, it's really hard to see that much work going and not have one person I can put forward. And usually it's because, one, the actors don't realize exactly how much they need their profile to be a certain way to actually get the hits. And that's why I like to work with them, because if I can tell them exactly what they need to do, then they're going to get that hit. And it proves itself. One of my actors hadn't really freshened things up for a year or so. And he said, oh, I'm not getting any self-tapes. And I said, well, it's probably because your profile has become a bit stagnant. Let's refresh everything, which he did straight away, fixed up everything. The next morning, there was a self request for him. I could send him for something and he got it straight away. And it's so important. That information is essential. And that's the information I have. So I want to share it with my industry, because it's going to make things better.
Oh gosh, I've forgotten. I watched the Logies last night, and I've forgotten the name of I think he must have been a producer or a director that they were honouring who's passed away. Gosh, I feel terrible not remembering his name, but he was very big and passionate about, can we just keep telling the Australian story? We need to get more Australian stories up on the television and on the streaming services and out to the world, because and I really resonated with that, because I love the Australian story. Like I love it. I love how diverse it is, and I
Yeah.
love, I love seeing all, the different narratives between all the different cultures and their experience living in this land. And
Mm.
what are your thoughts on that?
No, me too. I think that's
Mm,
one of the main reasons I wanted to bring the musical back here to Australia and have it do a retreatment again to suit the Australian audience, because this is really important to talk about the Australian female story, especially as we head into perimenopause and that concept of not having the valuable womb anymore. It's a really important concept, especially because there are 51% of women don't get married and nearly 20% of women don't have children.
mm,
So it's a really important story for us to validate that making a choice like I have made, or maybe like you have made, where our careers are it's a non-negotiable. It's that this is what I'm doing, so either get on board or don't. Um, I think it's a really important story to continually tell. And yesterday I went to see a play at Ad Astra called Top Girls, and it was a play from the 70s, but the truth was it still had incredibly valuable content to talk about. I don't want to say women's issues, because there's something a bit, I don't know about that, but it was saying, why is it an issue that women make a choice to have a career and not have children? We don't have to have it all. Some of us don't want to have it all. Some of us just want to go, this is my career and this is what I'm doing. So yeah, those stories are important to me because they're
mm,
different to overseas. This is what I found
mm,
working with the lovely German theatrical people, is they kept on saying to me, oh, you are so different. Everything is so different over there. And the story, this is so powerful. And I was like, really? Really? Okay. So yes, I think it's essential that we tell our stories.
I think we're very different. I think we're different to Americans. We're
Mm,
different to English
mm-hmm,
people. Yeah,
mm, mm.
we
Yeah.
are unique. And
Yeah.
and as much as we are very effed, as as a culture, as well as a,
Yeah. Yeah.
we've got some pretty shady politics, and obviously very, systemically racist and sexist in a lot of ways. And
Mm.
but they, it's like every culture. We've got the shit side, the toxic side, but we also have
Yes.
this, genuine spark, and you know um humor, and
Yes. Yeah.
just a different way of looking at things.
Yes,
And
and it's the humor. I think that's the
mm,
thing, is when I travel, what I realize is people really love the Australian sort of perspective and humor. And in Germany, they keep saying to me, "Oh, I love how you're so relaxed, and you say to everybody that you love them." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't get it." What? And they're like, "No, we don't say anything like that." And so then when I went to Scotland, and all the Scottish are sort of like, "Oh my God, you're Australian, you're so great," because their humor is similar to ours. So. Yeah. Oh
yeah,
my
actually,
gosh.
there is a lot of similarities
Yeah.
between us
Oh my
and
gosh.
Scottish people. I've
Oh
said that
yeah. And they're
before.
such
Yeah,
warm
yeah.
people. They're so hospitable.
I loved, when I was in London, the Cockneys. I don't know if you can call them Cockneys, but those,
Hmm.
the East Londoners,
Yes.
pure and bred. Like, I just got on
Yes.
so well with them. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Australian and that
Mm,
sort of demographic really match. Yeah. So
mm.
I'm a fan of Australian stories. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So, look, I think, if people want to work with you, like,
Yeah.
they could be singers, they could be, maybe they were
Absolutely.
actors in a past life, or maybe
Hmm.
something that they've always dreamt about,
Yep.
but have never had the,
That's right.
opportunities. So they can get
Mm.
in touch with you, can't they?
Please,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yes, I'm always taking on new people, and
yeah.
I'm happy to do everything from career development through to mentoring, music. Of course, I teach a heap of music, from sing and play piano, sing and play guitar, singing
Mm.
and writing music, and of course I produce. So I love to mentor, and I love to work with people, and I love to teach my craft. I love it. So yes, get in touch
And
with me.
yeah, like, if they want to come for a mentoring session, or even
Yeah.
you know, have that conversation with you, they can even
Yes.
come out to the Cleveland
Yes,
Artist
come to the Clippers Artist
Retreat.
Retreat. Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
lovely out here.
Yeah, it is
It really
beautiful.
is. Yeah.
My brother has recently had a really terrible accident on a motorbike.
Oh.
And it's interesting because my mum's always said, you know, when we have those tough moments in life when we experience tragedy. She always said, you know, you can always turn to the bottle, or you can turn to education. That was her. She saw that, you know, those parts. But my brother turned into koala activism.
Oh, wow.
So he's gone from this, like, you know, he's always been super intelligent, really lovely, knows everything about he has an elephant memory.
Oh,
you met him 20 years ago, he'll remember you and everything that you spoke about.
Wow. Yeah.
But went down that tradie path and was in construction and for a long time, and had this accident, and now has he loves koalas. And you're probably thinking, why are you saying this? Is because I'm sure he would love to come out because there's so many koalas.
Well, I actually live on the edge of the koala reserve. Literally, when it's koala mating season, the bull koalas literally come down from the trees and come down our little driveway, and you can hear them going at like midnight. So he would love it. Literally, where I'm looking now is where the koalas are.
I think the Lathuris family will come out.
Come out
at some stage.
Yeah. So it's lovely here, and it's a great place to be creative, and it's beautiful. And I've made sure that it's artistic and musical and inspiring out here.
Beautiful. Oh, thank you so much for chatting with me.
Oh, thanks, Mel.
And chatting to our Fearless Singer listeners. I'm sure there's my God, there's so many takeaways. I'm gonna be transcribing and listing. There's so much there. And you're just a joy to to witness as well in your creative journey and development. And
it's interesting. It's scary. You know, we do this, and most of the time we're sort of shit scared, but also really excited. You know, it's that combination of fear and absolute excitement. But we just keep going. We just keep going, don't we?
I honestly need to get it tattooed on my arm.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Just keep going.
You've got to stay. You've got to stay.
You just got to rock up every day and just give it the best shot you can.
Give it your best shot. There's a lot of, you know, surrender as well. There's a lot of stuff that you can't control.
That's exactly right.
But you can't let yourself get carried away in the riff, you know?
No, you've got to just let it all pass through you and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Because magic always happens. It just, you know, there are definite days that feel like a winter where everything's a bit dormant and stagnant, and there's nothing you can do about that. You just got to show up tomorrow and, you know, welcome all the gifts that pop up along the way. Make the most of them. That's the thing.
Beautiful. Oh, bless you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mel.